Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time for another episode of TOMEII Healing, the one show, maybe the only show, that dives deep into the world of alternative treatments, particularly for those with chronic health conditions. And today, we're privileged to have with us a patient of TOMEII Healing Clinics. We have with us Natalie, is it Schmitz? Did I get that correctly here?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay. And Natalie's here to share her story of what she went through. Let's dive right into it here. You, like so many people, suffered from a chronic condition that wouldn't go away, that caused real problems in your life, and there was apparently no answer for it, no cure for it, no even idea what's causing it. Talk about it. In your case, it was persistent low energy or chronic fatigue, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, thank you. It started in around 2016. My energy just plummeted, and there were weeks that I didn't even get out of bed.
Wow.
Because I just did not have the physical energy to
And was there
to
any
move.
precipitating reason? There wasn't a car crash or something terrible happened in your life or whatever that, just suddenly you just didn't have any energy?
Nothing that anyone could identify. There were no losses, no accidents, no serious illnesses.
Right.
I consulted doctor after doctor. I had every test under the sun done.
What would they test for? Things like anemia?
Thyroid,
Right.
Epstein-Barr.
Right. I knew somebody had, is it Epstein or Epstein-Barr, whatever it is, whatever that disease is. Again, you just have no energy. It just saps everything from you. Or COVID, long COVID. They're still trying to figure out what the heck this is. Some people don't bounce back. They can't seem to recover. They're constantly fatigued. They're constantly can hardly move, can hardly do anything. And the doctors go, this doesn't make sense. They can't put their finger on what it is. It was kind of that, right?
Yes, very, very, very frustrating, especially because I'm a single mom and I work full time and I've got active sons to take care of. And
Yeah.
With the energy level as low as it was, I felt like I was really losing control of the quality of my life, and simple things weren't getting done.
So walk me through some of these discussions. You go to your doctor and you say, I'm just not feeling good. And you say, well, let's run some tests. And it comes with blood tests probably, and they can't identify them. Then they ask you questions. Do they ever just say to you, it's in your head? Do they ever just say, maybe it's just not real. Maybe it's just, you're just depressed or something here?
Yes, I've heard that over and over again, and I've been referred to psychiatrists and therapists, and I've tried antidepressants, and
which is a bit ironic because you spend your life as you're a therapist, right?
Yes, I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I provide mental health counseling full time.
So you would notice if you would be the first person to say, well, okay, maybe there's some psychological component to this here. But you went through everything and nobody came up with anything. So when they come back with nothing, what did they say? Did they just shrug and say, I don't know?
Yeah, I had one doctor call me and he was laughing and he said, Natalie, you've got the healthiest blood in the whole county of Riverside. At the time I was working in Riverside. And, he said, I have no idea what's causing your fatigue. Have you considered talking to a therapist?
Yeah. Because they just want to pass you. I got no answers, so go talk to somebody else.
Right.
And I think so many of us, I think this is the modern problem. This is the American disease. We are all stressed. Mm-hmm. We are all overworked and eat poorly and exercise poorly, and we're always late, and we're always economically challenged. I don't have enough money, and we're more culturally divided and upset. We're ready to shoot each other at the drop of a hat and get in a fight. We live on such an edge all the time here. Mm-hmm. And more I hear people, a whole litany of diseases that have Epstein-Barr, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, on and on and on, say nothing of all the heart disease and the other things caused by stress and bad diets and all these things. We are just making ourselves sick, and modern medicine is really there as an intervention if you can identify something. You got a broken knee, we can fix it, we'll replace it. Yes. You got a heart valve, we can open it up. you got chronic fatigue. We don't know what to do. There is no pill. There's no procedure.
No, there isn't. And I've been desperate. I consulted with pastors, rabbis,
Really? Yeah.
energy healers, acupuncture,
So you, at some point,
chiropractic,
at some point,
nutritionists.
at some point, you opened up and said, "I'm going to try every alternative. This isn't working. What else you got?
Right.
I'll go to the witch doctor. I'll go to anybody here."
Nothing to lose at this point.
What did you look into? What other alternatives, treatments did you try here?
Well, like I said, I did acupuncture. I
Right.
went to several different energy healers, desperate to find
Right.
relief. All kinds of
Chiropractic. You said you tried?
chiropractic, yeah, hormones. I looked into hormones.
Hormones, right.
I tried the nutrition route. I tried everything.
And nothing seemed to help. Maybe
No.
little bits here and there, but nothing. If nothing changed it enough. So long, you kind of learned to what? Just live with it. This is just who I am, and I've just got to deal with this. Do you at some point you just sort of accept that this is me?
Yeah, well, you try. It was never anything that I wanted to accept,
Right.
of course, but I made adjustments as much as I could. Practical things like hiring a housekeeper, making sure that the kids were doing their fair share of the
I need help. I can't
housework
do it
and-
all. Right.
Right. Having groceries delivered and, trying to make life as smooth as possible, given that I really didn't have the energy a lot of days to even get myself from the bed to
Wow.
the shower.
So you told me beforehand, we were just talking about how you stumbled into this TOMEII healing system, which you think, you say, and are going to tell us, has dramatically changed things, improved your life. You stumbled into by accident because you said, for example, all right, kids, you got to go pick up the meal. If we're going to order stuff, we're going to get some takeout because I don't have the energy to cook or whatever here. We're going to get some takeout here. The kids had to go get it. And one of the things you all love because we're in Southern California is tacos.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And there's a cool taco shop, I know it well, up in Anaheim, around the Anaheim Hills. Really good fresh tacos. I don't know if we do a shout out for them or not, but it's good tacos. I think it's like Taco Company or something.
It's
or
called
whatever.
street taco.
Street tacos, that's what it is. Okay. We'll give them a little shout out. And one day your kids couldn't go pick up the tacos.
My kids weren't at home that day. I was all by my lonesome self, and I had to, if I wanted to eat, I had to get my butt out of bed and get down to the taco shop myself.
And unlike your kids, you weren't smart enough to pre-order this and have it just ready to be picked up. So you walked in, now you got to wait
Right.
while they're making the tacos.
Exactly.
And you start wandering the center. And next door is what? TOMEII Healing Clinic.
Right. I didn't want to sit down because I was afraid if I sat down at the taco place, I wouldn't want to get back
Yeah,
up. So
right.
I decided to keep standing. And in my standing, I was meandering around in front of TOMEII Wellness, and I saw the signs for acupressure and
Right.
massage. And
And were you open to that idea, or was that just one you'd never heard of? You tried acupuncture, where they're using the whole, again, just as a disclaimer kind of thing, this is all based on Chinese traditional healing, which believes, rightly or wrongly, that our body has energy flowing into it, all these meridians and the energy's flowing through your body. And as long as the energy flows, good things happen. When the energy gets blocked, bad things happen. And that's when you get chronic conditions or diseases or other things like that. And the theory is then to unblock it, to open it up, get the energy back in balance and flowing through your body again. Now, again, go look this up because Western medicine hasn't really figured out whether this is real or whether they can identify it or all this. But it's been around for 1,000 years, and if you go to traditional, anything to do with Chinese healing methods, acupuncture, acupressure, all these things, it's all based on that underlying belief in an energy meridian in your body there. So you must have had some familiarity with that because you'd been to acupuncture, a different approach, same idea.
yeah, and the energy healers talked about energy, and I had learned a little bit online, about chakras and
Right.
Tai Chi.
Reiki's
I had
another-
tried Tai Chi, and I had
Reiki's
been to
another one.
Reiki practitioners. Yeah,
Right.
so I kind of knew there was something behind this, that we have energy flowing through our nervous system and our bodies, but it was a very limited understanding.
And the problem I've heard people talking about, and I've experienced it myself, is, because full disclosure, I go to TOMEII Healing to myself and came in rather skeptical. And I don't know that I don't believe there's energy flowing through your body. I guess I kind of do. And we kind of think somehow there is some sort of energy system. I can't put my finger on it. My doctor can't measure it. They can't point to the meridians like they can my blood vessels or my nerves or whatever here. Maybe it flows along the same pattern. I don't know. But I think we all kind of, at least a lot of us, believe there's some sort of energy in your body. There is some sort of electricity. You can kind of feel it and know it. And your case was real clear. The energy was gone. It was sapped.
Yes.
There was nothing chemically wrong with your body, apparently. There was nothing physically wrong, but there was certainly something wrong with the energy that was normally there is somehow not there. And so it makes sense to go to some sort of energy specialist or healer or whatever here. Western medicine doesn't have any of those. They don't have any study of energy in Western science, although they've come to accept that acupuncture and acupressure can be used for pain management. Most insurance companies will pay for that approach here, but not for other chronic conditions like yours. So you had some basic appreciation of this, and you'd been to acupuncture. How was this different, acupressure?
Well, the first thing Dr. Chen showed me was all of the different charts of the different meridians, and he offered to do a free energy or chi assessment.
Let's talk about that, because that's
my gosh,
that's the crazy
thing here. I was
thing
so
here.
blown away. How do you measure my energy?
You
on
measure the
each
immeasurable.
meridian?
Nobody else can measure this, right?
Nobody, yeah. It was mind blowing. I was so amazed and excited and a little skeptical, I have to admit. But
Well, he's smiling. Dr. Chen's in the room with us.
Yeah.
He's smiling if you're watching this.
so he was real friendly, and I was just meandering around on a lonely Saturday
I
afternoon.
got time to kill. All right,
Yeah,
so give
waiting
me a
for my
chi.
tacos.
Give me
so
check my chi here.
he said it would only take a few minutes, so we went in, and it's set up like a massage room with a massage table, and I left all my clothes on. It was nothing uncomfortable or embarrassing or anything like that. And so
Well, hold up the wand. Yeah, I had
yeah,
to bring it here.
so
This is a thing. Dr.
put
Chen,
this
we're
on
bringing
my
you in.
hand.
How many years did it take you to
my
do it?
palm.
To develop this science. You started life, for those who don't know your story, you started life in China as a scientist, studying sensor technology. You got real sick with diabetes, went to Western doctors, and they said, can't help you, and you eventually went back to your own traditional healers that you had kind of dismissed. I'm a scientist now. I'm not going to go back to the local Chinese healer here. And they did heal you. And you changed your life and gave up, sold your business, and went and learned all about acupressure, not acupuncture, but acupressure, the idea of massage, to massage these, using the pressure points in your body to massage those blockages, not just to take pins and try and redirect the energy around the blockage. But the key thing is, you said, well, nobody can sense this. Everybody's still guessing where's the blockage. You developed, how many years did it take you to develop this thing?
Yeah, more than 10 years. Yeah.
10 years of trial and error and testing and using your science background and your sensor experience to develop what? Which is basically a sensor. It looks like a little magic wand. I don't know if this is real or just a little magic wand you wave to convince us, but you put these sensors on their hand and their feet and stuff here. Yeah, show us.
Yes, here.
So she's holding it, and it's got to be a
And then
really
the
tiny
measure-
electrical
no,
energy coming
yeah,
out of it.
measure here and the lung and pericardia and the heart, small intestine.
And you're talking
Yeah.
about pressure points attached
Pressure
to
point.
it. So on the
Triple
extreme
burn.
parts of your body and your hands and your
Yeah.
feet and stuff,
Yeah.
you according to traditional Chinese meridians, there's an energy meridian that actually is connected from that wrist to your lung or some other part of it.
From the hand and the leg connection to your internal organ, like a liver, kidney, spleen. So everything happen inside will show that on your hand and the leg.
Right. And
yeah.
so he measured the chi on my right side and my left side, my hands and my feet.
Yeah, up and down is
Up
the
and
energy.
down.
The energy you got no energy in your head, or no energy in your feet. Left side of your body. I always seem to have had less energy in the left side of my body. My left hand is weaker than my right hand is. I stumble more with things on my left than I do on my right. So he measured all this, and what did he find? What did he say?
So he was able to show me a graph and tell me, which energy was high and which energy was low.
We
and
can't really put it
was
up on the screen.
A chart.
Yeah.
He pulled up several charts on the computer to show me, this is high, this is low. There were several areas where I was on the border or in the danger zone because the energy was so low or so high or
And you're
so
measuring
out of
all these
whack.
meridians, right, Dr. Chen? How many meridians are there in traditional Chinese therapy here?
Basically, there is 12 meridian.
12 meridians.
Yeah.
So you're using different pressure points connected to these internal organs, and you sense somehow any change in the energy being emitted. And from that, you can say, this one's high, this one's low. You got a problem with this meridian's in balance, this one's way out of balance. Is that the gist of it? You're basically using this little sensor to sense these little changes in energy flowing from the inner organs up to these outer pressure points. Sounds pretty wild, but that's what you're doing, right?
Yes. We found that the blockage and the imbalance within minute. This blockage and imbalance the underlying cause of chronic conditions.
Yeah. And then the theory is if you can unblock it, that the body has amazing power to heal itself or to help itself.
Yeah. So we through the combination of acupressure and the cupping, the combination is without invasive.
We'll talk about cupping in a second here, but acupressure. So acupressure and acupuncture are the same thing, except one uses massage. So you had to train in massage too, to find those knots. We all know where they're at. You feel them in your body. Oh, I got a knot in my neck. I got a knot in my back. I got a pain in my leg. It's those. Somehow we think it's a blood blockage, or it's probably a nerve blockage or a muscle blockage. You're saying it's more than that. It's an actual energy blockage.
It's
that
a
point.
meridian.
Yeah.
Meridian energy pathway blockage. Yeah.
So the pathway is blocked. The energy
So
won't flow.
the way doctor explained it to me is that the meridians are like highways.
Okay.
And we're all very familiar, living in California at least, with SIG alerts and
Right.
traffic jams.
Right.
And so with Dr. Chen's technology, he's able to determine where those SIG alerts,
Where the
or
crash is.
where the congestion on the
The
highway
bottleneck,
is.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then through massage, loosen it up and get the energy flowing like it's supposed to.
Well, what I liked about it, I'm curious how you felt about it too, because I'm a Midwesterner. I never really had much massage. I don't want people touching me and massaging me. That seems kind of creepy or weird or whatever. And yet it felt wonderful. Whether there's energy or not in my body, I walked out after that first treatment feeling wonderful because he's touching places in my body, my back of my knee, back of my shoulder. I never reached back and touched these places. And the minute he did, I went, ow, that hurts really bad. And then I thought to myself, that can't be good.
Right?
Can't be good if there's some place that hurts that bad. You just touch it and it hurts. I'll bet there is something. I'll bet there is something knotted there.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's a muscle, maybe it's the blood, maybe it's the nerves being pinched, or maybe it's all of that and or the energy being pinched off. But whatever it is, he went right to these sore points I didn't even know I had. Did you
Same. Yeah, I
have
had the
experience?
same. What really stunned me was that I sat up after the energy chi assessment to look at the graphs, and I hadn't filled out any paperwork. I hadn't.
Told him.
I don't even know at that point if he had my name, but he certainly didn't have my story, and
Right.
he didn't have my health history.
He's crazy. Just
He didn't know.
sits there. Come on in.
you know,
Come
he
on and
was
take
just-
your tea
yeah,
here.
just making friends, basically. So he didn't know that I was struggling with. I had not told him, I should say,
Yeah.
what my health struggles were.
It wasn't like you told him and then he said, "Oh, there it is."
Right.
He said, "Come on in. You want to just try something? Let me show you, and I'll tell you what I see." And what he saw was what you've been experiencing.
Right. So I sat up on the table, and I hadn't told him that I was struggling with fatigue or all of the different doctors and healers that I had been to. He had no idea what my health situation was, if I had any chronic conditions or health complaints at all.
You're just somebody wandering the shopping center waiting for their tacos to be made, and you poked in, and he said, "You interested here? Let me give you a little free assessment here."
Right. So I sat up, and he basically told me what was wrong in terms of, he told me that I wasn't sleeping. He told me that my heart energy was low. He asked me questions about my sleep quality. He asked me questions about
Digestion.
my loneliness, my digestion,
Even loneliness? I mean, so, psychological conditions like that or whatever here? Now hold it up again. This is all, you've got a little band on your hand there that's somehow picking up the flow of energy, whatever that little, is it electrical energy? What kind of energy? How would you describe it to people? It's like a little low level electrical energy flowing through your body, Dr. Chen?
Is a current.
A current, okay.
Current. Yeah.
Correct.
And then,
Yeah.
you this little wand, hold it up again here, this little sensor, and then that plugs into
And
the
this.
compute that. Is it wirelessly connected to that? And then,
Yeah, connection to the computer. We connected them.
and then the
connected.
computer, then the tough part was to translate this into some program that would measure, monitor, make sense of the data, the minute energy that you're measuring. Somehow you had to translate that into some meaningful software. That's really what you spent forever creating, not this wand so much. It's that's a pretty standard little sensor of some kind, but it's the software that you spent years developing, right?
Yes.
And then the software
Amazing.
takes that and translates the variances into something you can use to diagnose where the blockage is, where the pain is. And the proof is, let me go, I think you got a problem. Lay down on the table. I'll bet it's here.
Exactly.
And you go, ow. Yeah.
Without even touching me, exactly. He knew
Wow.
exactly where those blockages were.
Yeah.
And, could work directly on the
And then
areas
it's
that were
and then
problematic.
it's massage. It's like a deep tissue massage. That's the way I explain it, which feels wonderful anyway.
Yes.
And it's relaxing and relieving and releasing. But it's more than releasing the tension and the muscle and the nerve. It's releasing what I didn't know was being blocked, the energy flowing through your body. Okay, so you went and tried this crazy thing, and you walked up and you said, hey, it's pretty amazing. He really nailed it. He knew me before I even told him. He found some pain points that I didn't even know were there. And after a treatment or two, how did you decide to come back?
Well, every treatment we would do another analysis, and I started seeing changes in the numbers. I started seeing the areas that were in the danger zone
Right.
coming down toward the healthy
The
region.
balance,
Right.
the middle point. You want to
Right.
be on the extremes where it's way too low or way too high. Yeah.
Right. So seeing the numbers, I could see that my energy, that my body was becoming more and more and more and more in balance
Right.
over time. And I started feeling better.
That's what I was going to say. So is it just mind over matter? You're a psychologist or or whatever.
Psychology. Yeah.
Psychology. Are we just tricking ourselves into believing what's there?
I really don't think so. I really no.
Because some people would say, well, you see you're getting better, and then you say, oh, I'm getting better, so you convince yourself you're getting better. I don't know if I'm talking myself into this or really, but it does feel something is getting better.
Yes.
All right, so how many years you've been doing it? Now, he told me an amazing story. We're doing this on February 22nd of 2024. He pulled up your information, and he laughed out loud when he told me. He said, to the day, this is when you walked in 2 years ago.
Coincidentally.
It was 2022. It was 2 years ago, exactly to the day that you walked in. Is this all fate? Is this all somehow meant to be?
So interesting. I don't have an explanation. I call it synchronicity. You
Yeah.
can call it a miracle from God if you're a believer. But I am so grateful for TOMEII healing and the transformation that it's made for me. My digestion is better. My sleep is better. My energy is better. I'm feeling like I've got the energy to take care of things and life in a manner that is satisfying and rewarding. So it
Well,
feels like I've got
you look
my
radiant.
life
You
back.
look smiling. You didn't look dragging and lethargic and down or whatever here. So it all from just deep tissue massage targeted towards these blockages, finding the
Yes.
blockages and relaxing them, releasing them, relieving them. And I'm telling you, you feel something immediately just from the massage. And then you start to notice, hey, really something is different here.
Yes, and my ex-husband, who I'm still pretty close to because we have children together,
Right.
and a young granddaughter, he was struggling with kidney failure for a lot of years. He was on
Yikes.
dialysis for
Right.
over
Another
10 years.
even more difficult chronic condition, right?
Yes, and he was on the transplant list to get a donor kidney for those 10 years. and the doctors started doing assessments to make sure that he was healthy enough to receive a donor
Right.
kidney. And they
'Cause
determined
they don't want to waste one.
exactly.
I hate to say it, but they don't want to give one to you if you're not a good candidate.
So they determined that there was something wrong with his heart, and they were questioning whether or not they wanted to go ahead and do a transplant because
Right.
of his heart condition. And the doctors were sort of hemming and hawing and on the fence about whether or not they wanted
Because
to
we got a
approve
lot of
him
people
for
who want
surgery.
these, and we only got a few of them, and we got to put them to the best possible use here.
Right. So he went back and forth with the cardiologist, trying to get approval for his donor to receive a kidney.
Right.
And I sent him to Dr. Chen, and he went through one round of treatments, and he was approved for a donor kidney by the cardiologist.
And a round is what, like 10, 12 treatments, or just a certain
12, I think. Yeah.
certain pack. How many, Dr. Chen, do you usually recommend? You can't reach miracles in one treatment, but over a course of treatments, which you usually do in a pretty condensed period of time, pretty quickly, you usually say, what, 10, 12 of these things?
The idea is continually for 12 treatment.
Right.
The idea get the best result. But if you don't have the time or just one or two treatment, you will see
You'll see something.
See the result.
So your husband went through the full package of treatments, a 12
I don't
treatment
think
course.
he even finished the first
No,
12 treatments before his cardiologist approved him for the surgery.
What did he think? Was he
Oh,
he's a
well-
guy. He doesn't believe in any of this
And
stuff here.
he's not big on education or science, and he kind of thought it was, I think what he called it is hocus pocus.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Chinese hocus pocus. But
Exactly.
it was like, whatever, I mean, it's not,
Not
he
that
was
ex-
willing to
Not that
take
expensive. It doesn't
Right.
hurt. Whatever. So try it.
Right. So he was at least a good sport about trying it. And now he's had his donor kidney for 2 years, well, almost 2 years, and he's doing really well.
There you go.
That's great.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
is something.
I remember. Yeah.
It is something that, like a chiropractor and these other things, I think that's another thing that sort of turns people off. This isn't a cure, but it'll help bring your body back into balance. Your body can help heal itself, or can correct some of these conditions, but you can still go out of whack. Your body can still go out of balance. Just like go to a chiropractor, he puts you all into alignment, and then 6 weeks later you still get a pinched nerve again, because whatever you're doing it again. You're throwing yourself out of alignment. Is this our problem as Americans, Dr. Chen? We're always throwing our body out of balance. We don't sleep enough. We're too stressed. We don't, too little time, too little money.
We don't eat
we
right.
eat crappy food. Yeah, we're always out of balance.
So we have once we found the blockage and imbalance, we will tell you ourselves come to self acupressure around the meridian. So the combination with your self acupressure and combine our professional service, this will be best for you to keep
And we
balance,
know
keep
there's
healthy.
proof of these pressure points. More and more people, like if you're seasick, you get one of these little bands they sell, and it hits the pressure point in your wrist. Or if you have a headache, I think there's some pressure point in your forehead. We know there are places in your body that if you apply pressure, somehow relief happens. Why can't that be bigger than just a momentary seasickness? I don't know. Seems like there's something here, we just don't know what it is. Was it important for you to know what it is, or was it like, I always say to Dr. Chen, he's like an electrician. He comes to my house. He wants to explain how the whole thing's wired. I don't care. Just make the light go on. Does the switch go on? Was it like it for? Was that what it was like for you?
Yes and no.
Did you want to know all the science?
Ultimately, I just wanted to feel better, but I was really curious about what he was doing, and I did ask a lot of technical questions, and I've asked him to explain the charts in his office. To
He's
me
got
more
them
than
all over his
once,
office, all these charts of the meridians that go back, that have been, how long did they figure these charts out? These have been for 1,000 years or something. The Chinese healers have been following this meridian system here and trying to measure and unblock energy and get it balanced, right? This is a long time.
It's a long time, 5,000 years.
5,000 years, wow. All right, so there must be something to it. It's been around a long time, but unfortunately Western medicine still kind of goes, I don't know what it is. More and more they accept some of it, maybe for pain relief or something, or nausea or things like that, but that still haven't really explored very much. Why is that, Dr. Chen? Why do you think Western medicine and Eastern medicine can't come together? I'll give you my theory. I'll tell you my theory is, and I said this to Natalie beforehand. I had somebody years ago explain this to me. If you're in China and you go to a traditional Chinese healer, or you're in India and you go to Indian Ayurvedic, or Japanese Reiki, or any of these energy belief systems, right? If I get sick, I fire the doctor because he's supposed to keep me from getting sick. It's a prevention. It's to keep you in balance so that you don't get ill. Western medicine is all about intervention after you get ill. You don't go see the doctor until you're really sick, and then they give you a pill or a procedure. And that could be miraculous. They can replace your heart, for Pete's sake. They can replace your knee. We're at UCI's Applied Innovation Center. The whole building is medical devices. How do we fix something after it's broken? But it's not about prevention. It's about intervention afterwards. And so I think it's two different philosophies. One is a maintenance program, a prevention program, and the other is too late to do anything. You got a big problem. We got to intervene now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I say the true sense is like yin and yang, the balance between the up and down, the good and the bad, the yin and the yang, the balance between prevention and intervention. And boy, it's certainly easier to prevent problems than it is to fix them after you got them. That seems to be the truth.
Yes.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say to anybody? You're a believer. That's why you came in here today.
Absolutely. I am a firm believer. I want to shout out to the whole world. I'm referring people all the time. And a lot of times people kind of look at me like, yeah, really?
Yeah. And yet you had been through acupuncture, which is a similar philosophy, similar idea, but you didn't find that same relief.
Well, when you go to the acupuncturist, they ask you, what are you here for?
What's the problem?
And, what are you trying to achieve? And they're, I think, to a large extent, sort of guessing at what the solution to
let's
your
try this, let's try
problem
this, right.
Right.
Herbalists and stuff too and everything. Well, let's try this, and then it's an experimentation. What's so unique about what Dr. Chen does, based on his scientific background, he spent 10 years not only finding a way to sense this energy, but to make sense of the data and to translate it into a chart that instantly says, there's the blockage, that's where it's not flowing. And the proof is, he goes and touches you and says, how about I think it's here. Did I get it right? And he hits it and you go, ow! Yeah, there it is. You found it. It's not a hit or miss thing. That's what's amazing to me.
It really is amazing.
Okay. All right, Dr. Chen, how do they find you if they want to learn more about TOMEII healing? You just got one clinic right now, but you're licensing this to others around the country as we talk here. How do they find you? Is there a website?
We have the website www.tomei.us.
Okay.
And we are office phone number 714-998-0128. We have several business partners around the United States, like Texas, Houston, and Northern California, San Mateo,
People
Morgan
that are
Hill,
licensing,
Morgan
and,
Hill.
and these are not just traditional Chinese healers, but maybe they're people that do other sorts of, I don't know, not massage, but what any sort of holistic wellness centers, health clinics, that kind of thing, right?
Yes, our growth strategy is to fund the licensing agreement business partner and company own, and also we are going to develop a franchise system. So to provide a local service, locally for
that sensor and the underlying software technology, that's the scientific approach to this traditional healing method that you seem to have found the secret sauce for. Well, I tell you, it works in my life. I'm not sure I always know why. It's like the electrician. I don't really know how you do it. Just make the light switch go on. Flick the switch, and so I can feel better and see the light. And I've certainly experienced it in my life. Sounds like Natalie has too. Thank you for coming in and sharing your story here.
Thank you.
All right, that's it, folks. Tune in again as we talk more about exploring the alternatives treatments that are available, some of which have been around for centuries. If you're open to trying something new, and maybe you've tried everything else and you're desperate, check out TOMEII Healing. Thanks so much.